species. The ugly ego of self-hate is sin success. Chocolate City's gone crazy. We gotta stop the madness. Everybody's out to lunch on a crackhead high. We gotta stop the violence and stop living a lie. Black on black death is at an all-time high. Young hustlers die young, thinking it's the only way. Who's the city war zone? Any street, US of A. Everybody's got an AK-47 rifle, an AR-15 or bloody knife. Too uncaring to care, no respect for life. Programmed for a fate of failure, nevertheless, by materialistic surface thrills and only symbols of success. Gold chains, designer clothes, a BMWs and a Mercedes-Benz. Easy money, big money, fast living, young hustlers dead end. The object of extinction, public enemy number one, an endangered species, Mother Africa's native son. Made of a pure black gold, but programmed to self-destruct by remote control. Hi, I'm Danny Queen, and welcome to another edition of Color Me Poetry. We're here with the Honorable DR.Frances Cress Welsing. Welcome, Dr. Welsing. We're glad to have you here. And you are the author of the new ISIS papers,
right.
The new book that's really been done very well in the black community.
Yes, well,
I want to talk about, I want to jump right in. I want to talk about black men, and that's why I introduced that poem, because I thought that it was significant. Just things that I see, just observation.
Well, I want to praise you for, some of your work, all of your work.
Thank you.
But you're zeroing in on some of the critical things that are happening amongst black people. Babies making babies, you name it, you've written about
Loose
it.
booty blues.
Okay, that these are very important, and I would encourage people to buy and read your poetry. But zeroing in on what is happening with young black men, I would say if we understand racism, we've talked about my work, the Cress-theory, color confrontation, and racism, and the ISIS papers, and I zero in also. By understanding racism, then we can understand why black people in general are under attack, but black males in particular, because I maintain that the critical concern in the global white population as well as the local white population is conscious or subconscious concern about white genetic survival as the minority genetic recessive population. The threat to that genetic survival is the black male.
Historically so.
Historically, genetically. So we could go back to Greek and Roman times, 2,000 years ago, when Europe began to go into Africa, and the experience of white genetic annihilation because of the genetic dominance of people of color, and black people have the greatest genetic potential to cause white genetic annihilation. So the societal construct, most fundamentally, is an attack on black males, that when we bring it up to the 1990s, we are seeing drugs appear. Black people do not create any of the chemicals that produce the drugs, but drugs appear in the community coming from somewhere else. But since it's not black people that are producing drugs, they are coming from other than black people. The guns that are coming into the black community.
Lots of guns now.
Or, do you see there are 200 million guns in the society? The Wall Street Journal had an article talking about all the manufacturers of guns that are producing guns, and specific manufacturers that are producing guns that are coming specifically into the inner city. Do you see cheap guns that can be bought and made available to any young black person who is frustrated and has become overwhelmed by a system that they don't understand, but they experience being the target of attack. Do you see, through unemployment, seeing their fathers unemployed, seeing their uncles unemployed, seeing their grandfathers unemployed, and seeing that there's not supposed to be a place in the society for them to maturate and to develop, only the instruments of self-destruction. Do you see? So you've written about that in your poetry, and I consider that to be a priority topic for critical discussion amongst black people. For example, in our metropolitan area, I believe in Fairfax, Virginia, young white students in high school were fainting. 20 young people fainted. They had a massive commission with all kinds of experts to understand why children were fainting. Now, we have mass murder going on our streets. I believe Cortland Malloy had an article in the paper yesterday talking about the number of black people in South Africa that were killed since 1987, 85, or I believe 87. We have a comparable number of black people in the District of Columbia alone.
Not to mention the other cities.
Do you see? Right. In the District of Columbia alone, where a population of less than 1 million people had a comparable number of deaths compared to a place where war was going on around the issue of racism. Do you see? But nobody has a commission. So that says, I mean, for the behavioral scientist who is stepping back and looking at the phenomena, when you have mass death occurring, and no one sets up a commission, it means that they want the mass death. Do you see, amongst those who control the power system.
So there's a structure
in Nazi Germany, there was no commission to study why Semites of the Jewish religion were dying. Do you see, because that was the objective of the society, to get rid of Semites of the Jewish religion. So no commission. So that's the way. Do you see? Go ahead.
So what you're saying is not necessarily a conspiracy, but more or less a structure.
Well, I say there's no conspiracy. The 14th Street Bridge is standing. A conspiracy doesn't hold it up, but a structure holds it up, and that's why it functions. I don't like the concept of conspiracy. Do you see, any more than I say it wasn't a conspiracy to destroy 11 million Semites of the Jewish religion. In Germany, there was simply a governmental, do you see, a power structure plan to carry this out. The word conspiracy often sends people, dismiss that. They're talking about a conspiracy. Do you see, as opposed to no, it was planning, conscious, subconscious planning that had to do with the fundamental dynamics within the society.
But all of this also affects the structure of the family, of the black family, the breakdown of the family.
You see, because
there's no male.
Exactly. If the father is attacked, you see, if you have one father missing in a community, then any male child benefits by the father next door, the uncle next door, functioning. But when you have massive numbers of fathers missing because the fathers are attacked, you can push fathers out of families if they do not have employment. You see, if they're forced into unemployment or underemployment, then men become depressed, discouraged, and they leave their families out of their depression.